Japan's Kansai International Airport, a landmark achievement in civil engineering, recently celebrated its 30th anniversary. Built on land reclaimed from the sea in Osaka Bay, it remains one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in the world. However, despite its innovative technology, the airport faces a serious problem. It is slowly sinking into the sea. The massive complex is sinking at an average rate of more than 30 centimeters per year. At a cost of $18 billion, the airport was built on two artificial islands in Osaka that are gradually moving away from the metropolis itself. Kansai, which opened in 1994, was the first airport built entirely on an artificial island. It also boasts the world's longest terminal and an impeccable baggage handling system. The idea for an airport on the sea was born out of dire necessity. By the late 1960s, Osaka, Japan's second-largest city, had outgrown its old landlocked airport. With limited space and surrounded by mountains, the only solution was to riskily build a new airport on the water. Construction began in 1987 after a 20-year planning phase. It was a colossal project, costing $14 billion at the time, about $40 billion in today's money. The plan required creating a new island protected by an 11-meter-high causeway and connecting it to the mainland, with a bridge costing about $1 billion. Although the project seemed daring, Kansai's success paved the way for future floating airports. To offset the enormous costs, authorities raised rental rates and landing fees. At one time, it charged the highest landing fees in the world, about $7,500 for a Boeing 747, compared to $2,500 at Kennedy Airport in New York. Some even joked that a cup of coffee would have to cost more than $10 to cover the costs. However, the airport faced an unexpected problem. The rate of subsidence of the island turned out to be higher than expected. Initially, it was assumed that it would subside by 8 meters in 50 years, but in practice, in the first 8 years, the subsidence exceeded 12 meters. To prepare the bottom for future development, builders poured a 1.5-meter layer of sand and installed 2.2 million vertical pipes with a diameter of about 40 centimeters, fixing them in clay and filling them with sand to dry the soil. After additional reinforcement of the bottom, construction of the dam began. By 1990, when the island had settled by 8 meters instead of the planned 5, engineers sounded the alarm. To save the situation, a pit was dug under the terminal, iron plates were inserted, and the building's columns were raised using hydraulic jacks. Despite these measures, it is predicted that the subsidence will continue for centuries, but at a slower pace. The main reason is the complex structure of the deep clay layers, where pockets of sand make the soil behave unpredictably. The subsidence has already led to additional costs of over $100 million aimed at maintaining the island's height. Soil mined from Osaka Bay, nearby mountains, and imported from China and Korea have been used to stabilize the area. The added layers of soil help squeeze moisture out of the softer layers through capillary action. Over time, the layers become compacted, becoming stronger and more stable. The seawall surrounding Kansai is made up of 48,000 concrete blocks and gravel, secured in massive chambers. During the fill work, the island's level was raised to 20 meters above sea level. Construction was carried out in several stages. The work was periodically suspended to allow the layers to settle and compact. After the soil was stabilized, 900 columns with hydraulic jacks were driven into it for subsequent correction of the settlement. When designing the airport, engineers took into account the predicted rate of subsidence, but reality exceeded expectations. Even after bringing in huge volumes of earth, the actual behavior of the soil turned out to be more complex than laboratory calculations. The mass of the restored areas is many times greater than the load from hangars and parking lots. For example, a fully loaded Airbus A380 weighs less than 0.3% of the mass of the filled island. The subsidence problem is particularly critical in the central part of the island, where the airport's most important facilities are located. Monitoring of 5 key points showed that the level of subsidence has already reached or exceeded the estimated indicators for 50 years ahead. Despite these challenges, Kansai's architecture remains a testament to engineering genius. The terminal, designed by famed architect Renzo Piano, was built to withstand natural disasters. For example, Kansai Airport escaped unscathed from the 1995 Kobe earthquake. The terminal's design allows for constant height adjustment. The building is supported by 900 jacks. Even the runway is made of flexible asphalt, capable of withstanding shifts without cracking. The airport has faced new challenges in recent years. In 2018, Typhoon Jebi destroyed part of the seawall and flooded the runway, causing a 2-week outage. In response, the seawall was reinforced and raised another 2.7 meters. However, questions remain about the airport's future. Experts predict that without large-scale interventions, the artificial islands could be underwater by 2067. Kansai International Airport celebrates 30 years of successful operation and remains one of the busiest in Asia. It serves millions of passengers each year and will play a major role in the upcoming Osaka Expo 2025, expecting to welcome 28 million visitors. The project has evoked mixed feelings. Some consider it a great engineering triumph. Others consider it the biggest mistake in history. However, whatever the future holds, Kansai's legacy as a revolutionary engineering project remains undeniable and continues to influence the development of airports around the world.